The president from the Slonim Yeshiva, Rabbi, who worked so tirelessly for this year, Rabbi Yitzchak Diamond, who has a program here. This is Kvod Achsanya in this shul every night. Cheshek Shloime, Al Shem, Reb Shloime Freifeld, the Groise Godel, Schusa Yogan Aleinu. And every single of you, of us, that came together before Chanukah, apologizing, I'm a little bit under the weather, but if we're before a yontiv of Chanukah, which the whole essence of yontiv is Mesiras Nefesh, I don't think it's such a big Mesiras Nefesh. But from every one of you, it is Mesiras Nefesh. To tear away, leave a house, leave your normal routine is Mesiras Nefesh. Nefesh is Meloshen Rotzoin. In Yeshes Nafshechem we find the Torah, Nefesh is Meloshen Rotzoin. You give over your Rotzoin, your want, which is, we want to prepare ourselves to be able to enter Chanukah on a higher level. We want the lights of the Yontiv, we want the Rabbi Shalom. It's a tremendous chus. Chazal tell us, She'alim v'doshen b'hilchis achag, koidem achag. There's an obligation for a Yid to prepare himself and learn the halachos of a Yontiv before the Yontiv is about to come. It's a machlokes in the Gemara. How much is the shear, koidem achag, that a person is supposed to start learning the halachos? Is it 30 days, as the Tanna Kama claims? Or is it 2 weeks, as Reb Shimon ben Gamliel wants to say? Abla Kula Alma, if we're mamish 2 days away, we feel it already. It's sicher an obligation. She'alim v'doshen b'hilchis achag. And Svarim tell us hilchis achag doesn't only apply to the halachos of the yontiv, which every yontiv has sugyas and halachos, and of course Chanukah as well. Tremendous groise sugyas which a person should learn a little bit of the halachos, because the oir and the essence of the yontiv is in the Torah part of the halacha of the yontiv. So it's kedai before a yontiv to learn even a few halachos, or the Gemara in Masechtas Shabbos. There's 3 dafim that speak about Chanukah. Through learning the actual halachos, the Torah, you already get more closer to the yontiv. But Svarim tell us hilchos achag is also meloshen halichos achag. Meloshen walking towards the yontiv. A person is supposed to ask himself, she'alim v'darshan, and think in and be misboinen, how am I about to go into the yontiv? How am I about to enter yontiv? She'alim v'darshan b'halichos achag. How are we entering yontiv in a way that yontiv will enter into us? It's not only that we'll go through like a hallway and then it'll pass and we'll forget from it. How are we going to go into yontiv in a way and in a fashion that yontiv is going to go into us and remain in us with its light to shine up our lives for the rest of the year after yontiv leaves? She'alim v'darshan b'halichos achag. That's a big shaila. If that's a big shaila before every yontiv, a yontiv of Chanukah, a yontiv of so much opportunity, a yontiv that Chachamim established for us, dafke, it should light up the oil in the Golus. We know there is Taryag mitzvahs, 613 mitzvahs, the Torah is mechayev us. Then the Chachamim added 7 additional mitzvahs, the Sheva mitzvahs, the Rabbanon. Chanukah is the last one. Svarim say 613 plus the Zayin mitzvahs, the Rabbanon is gematria keser. Taryag plus Zayin is keser, it's a crown which the Yidden built to the Rebbeinu Shalom through the mitzvahs. Chanukah is the last jewel that completes the crown. Through Chanukah, a Yid could inherit the entire Torah with all its mitzvahs, the Araisa or the Rabbanon. But it means also that the Chachamim established in that mitzvah, in this oil of Chanukah, a koyach that it should keep us going until Mashiach is going to come and he'll put on that crown, that keser, from the mitzvahs that Klal Yisrael Amekai and the Golus Mesiras Nefesh. It's a yontiv of opportunity to lighten up dafke matzavim that are not comfortable, that are difficult. The mitzvah is to light the lights in the dark when it's dark. How are we about to enter yontiv and see that yontiv should enter us? Our souls, our houses, our life. The yontiv is a yontiv of oir, a yontiv of light. That's the main part of the yontiv. We put on candles, which is spreading light, oir. But Svarim tell us there is a oir aganos. The Gemara Chagiga tells us that the Rebbeinu Shalom, when he created the world, created an oir, a tremendous light, that a person had a koyach with that light. It was lamalam ateva. He would be able to see from one ekvel to the other side of the world. But the Rebbeinu Shalom was afraid that the Rishon are going to come and use that light for things that are inappropriate. They'll try to see things that are not permitted, things that are against sneers. So the Rebbeinu Shalom hid that light. Vayimna mi Rishonim oiram. The Rebbeinu Shalom had back that light from the Rishonim. And Gonzoi, he hid it. Heichin Gonzoi, the Gemara asks, where did the Rebbeinu Shalom hide that tremendous light, that tremendous oir? Gonzoi l'tzadikim la'asud lavoi. He hid it for the tzadikim la'asud lavoi. Why did he hide it? Why didn't he demolish, destroy that light? No. He hid it for a time that's going to come. We're going to use that light. When is that going to be? La'asud lavoi, when Melech HaMashiach is going to come. Tzadikim are going to be able to enjoy that oir. It's called oir haganos in all the Svarim. It's the light that was hidden. Svarim tell us, Chanukah, the oir haganos shines. Through us, sending on, igniting the oiris of the menorah, we are mamshich, we draw that in that candles, those candles of the menorah, it's not a natural simple fire. There's an oir and a fire of oir haganos. The oir haganos comes into the Chanukah licht. Therefore it's a tremendous thing to look at the Chanukah licht. Other tzaddikim wouldn't move away, wouldn't take their eyes off the Chanukah licht. It brings in kedusha into the soul. It's therapy. It's like laser that you could take in kedusha into you. It spreads kedusha into the house that the lech shines. It spreads kedusha even into the street. It's had such a koyach that it could even shine up the street. Therefore, the mitzvah is to put it outside. The places that oil never reaches there, never gets there. Chanukah has a koyach, the oil should come and lighten up even the most lowest places and lowest areas where never light comes there. But Svarim tell us, and not simple Svarim. The Bnei Yissaschar tells us he has shloisha edim nemonim, 3 witnesses. The 3 witnesses are Reb Pinchas L'Karitza, the Imre Pinchas, who got a Kabbalah, who gives over b'shem the Rekeach, from the Rishonim, from the Rekeach, that gives over that he accepted a Kabbalah from Eliyahu Hanavi, that Chanukah shines the oir shel Mashiach. The oir that's going to shine when Mashiach is going to come, shines already Chanukah. It's in the air. It gets drawn down to this world also through the Lechtlech. And we understand that what Svarim, we can understand through that what Svarim tell us, that Chanukah shines the oir haganos, that is prepared to shine la'asud lavoi. Svarim tells us that oir haganos is already here in the Chanukah Lech. If Eliyahu Hanavi tells us that Chanukah is the oir shel Mashiach, what's going to be the oir shel Mashiach? The oir haganos, that the Rebbeinu Shalom hid that tremendous light from creation. So we understand that Chanukah is a gewaldige time of opportunity. There's oir haganos, oir shel Mashiach. But how do we apply it to us? How do we bring it down, and how we understand it on a more simple level, if we could say simple? We spoke about it, I think, more than once, that Nesivas Shalom and the Maiman like Boime, he has a whole maracha, a whole shmuz that he brings b'shem the Divrei Shmuel from Slonim Schusa Yogan Aleinu. He brings it in Lag Boime that we find on the day of Lag Boime a certain contradiction, a certain steer. From one hand, it's the day of Reb Shimon ben Yochai, the greatest Tana, the greatest individual, the greatest person who reached the highest heights that a Yelud Isha ever reached. Chazal rave about him in a tremendous way. That's on one hand. On the other hand, we find that that day, the midah of the day is Hoiche B'Hoi. And we'll explain this contradiction as the way the Nesivas Shalom explains it. We'll elaborate a little bit. Reb Shimon ben Yochai, Chazal rave about him on a style and a way like they don't rave about no other person. There's a pasuk, Shalish Pamim B'Shani Yerach Kol Zechuchas Pnei Adon Hashem, which is the pasuk that tells a Yid you have to be oile regel and come show your face towards our master Hashem. Says the Zohar Kadosh, Man Pnei Adon Hashem. Who is the person who his face reflects Pnei Hashem? Dorashbi, Reb Shimon ben Yochai. Tremendous compliment, tremendous mila to say on a Yelud Isha that his face reflects Pnei Hashem. We find that Reb Yehuda Ka'ara la Shabbos, ma Shabbos l'Shem Kodesh, Reb Shimon l'Shem Kodesh. Reb Yehuda would call Reb Shimon with the name Shabbos Kodesh. We find that Talmidei Chacham b'chlal abchinas Shabbos. But to call someone with the name Shabbos Kodesh, Svarim tells us Reb Shimon Bar Yochai is the neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu. Nasa Adam Nema Bavirecha, we sing in the Piyut of Bar Yochai, which means the entire creation, with all the generations of all the people who were worth to be created, to have such an individual like Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. So we find tremendous milas and aflogas and tremendous compliments about Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. That's from one hand. On the other hand, we know that every day in the Sfira has a midah. We say it, Masha Begamti B'Sfira is printed in the Sidurim. Every day there's a different midah. The midah of Lag Boimer is Hoyt Shebahoyt. Hoyt Shebahoyt, Svarim tell us, is the lowest of the low. It's the lowest trait possible. And again, these are things beyond us, it's Kabbalah, but it has an explanation. We know that there are 7 traits, 7 midos. The 6th and the 7th, Yesod the Malchus, the Zohar tells us, are midas koilelos. They include all the previous midos. They are like the base on what the 5 midos stand on. And there's really only 5 traits, from Chesed to Hoyd. Hoyd is the lowest midah. Hoyd shebehoyd is the lowest of the low. Rabbi Kedemden writes, it's din shebedin. It's the worst, the lowest possible. So the Vishmul asks, it's a tremendous contradiction here. On one hand, like Boimer is the day of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. Others say it's his yard site. But this is for sure zikr that Reb Shimon says in Zohar, it's my day. I selected a day from the entire year, from the calendar, from the year. I want one day, like Boimer. It's a tremendous grosser day of Simcha. It's a day of Reb Shimon that reached the highest heights, and Chazal rave about him in the most special way possible. That's on one hand. On the other hand, the midah is the lowest midah. If the day is so big, the midah should have been Chesed Shebechesed, the biggest, or Malchus Shebemalchus, which includes everything, which is the day that leads us into Shavuos. Why is it Hoyt Shebehoyt? The Mesilas Shalom brings from the Vishmul, and it's brought down from that in Balatanya, and like Boyim the same, in Repinchas and Shuas Chain. Many Svarim explain that we know by oil, by light, the higher the light is, it has more ability and more koyach to shine into lower areas. They bring a mashal. The person will walk into a room that's dark. If he'll put on a candle, it'll get a little bit more light. The higher he'll pick up the candle, the more the light of the candle is going to shine into the lower corners of the room. That's the nature of light. The higher the light is, the more it comes down to lower areas, to where the light is supposed to light up. Therefore, see, the Shalom brings, Chachmei Mechka scientists say, that the oil of the Shemesh, the sun comes down with the biggest force to this planet, more than the light of the stars, more than the oil of the Levana. Why? Because the Shemesh is the highest planet. It's higher than all the stars and higher than the Levana. And since it's on the highest place in the Shemayim, it has koyach to come down with its strongest force down to this world. Because the higher a light, it has koyach to come down with stronger force to lower, darker areas. Says Svarim, so a tzaddikim. The higher a tzaddik is, he has koyach and yechoilus, an ability to lower himself and connect and attach himself in love and bear a shvacher yid. Which means, the yidden that have sins, the yidden are very shvach. So if you're a tzaddik, you could feel it. And there were many tzaddikim that couldn't bear certain yidden that didn't conduct the way they should. But if the tzaddik was on a greater level, he had more koyach to like them. And therefore it's brought down, the Sivshon brings B'Shem Svarim, the Mekoyres, the Repinchas L'Karetz, that brings from Chuas Chen Rav Gedalia Melinitz, Melech HaMashiach is going to love the worst yid like the biggest tzaddik ador. Why? Because Melech HaMashiach is going to be so high, he'll have a koyach to lower himself and connect and attach himself to the lowest yid. And he's going to love the lowest yid, mamish like the biggest tzaddik ador. That's because of his height. The greater a person is, the more koyach he has to lower himself and connect to a lower, schwacher person. It's brought down that Hashem is the same. The Birkas Avram, Chassidus Galena brings, that we say by davening, Berum oilo moshevecha, mishpetech zekas chadaf sei aretz. The Rebbeinu Shalom, because his moshev, because where he lives is Berum oilo, at the highest place in Shemayim, therefore his tzedakah, his chesed, his mishpat, could come down at Afsei Oretz to the lowest areas on this world. Explains him in Siva Shalom, that's the beer and the contradiction. Like on one hand, we asked, Reb Shimon is so big, the day is so big. Why is the trait, which is the lowest? Because Reb Shimon was so big. Because Reb Shimon, Chazal rave about him like no other person. He had koyach that his oil should shine into the lowest days, to the lowest areas, until the traits of Hoyche B'Hoid, which is the lowest traits. So Dafke Reb Shimon selected the day of Hoyche B'Hoid, because no other tzaddik would be able to light up the day of Hoyche B'Hoid. Lag Boimer is the day that in the Midos comes out to be, because it's 7 times 7, it's calculation, 7 times 7, so the 33rd is the 5th of the 5th trait. So that is Lag Boimer. That's the fact. The day is Hoyche B'Hoid. So Reb Shimon selected that day because he knew that he's so great. He reached heights that no other tzaddik reached, so he has a koyach and yechoilus to light up that day. That's the beer in this contradiction. Now let's take all this to Chanukah. Chanukah, all this forum tell us, shines Oira Shel Mashiach, Oira Gonus. What it means is that Chanukah's Oira is so high, it's so holy, it's so awesome, it's so beyond, it's so l'malam ateva, that it has koyach to shine down and shine in to every single yid, no matter whatever his state is. And what Svarim tell us, that Oira Shel Mashiach shines on Chanukah means, just like Mashiach Tzidkenu when he's going to come b'mheira b'yameinu to redeem us, is going to love the lowest yid like the biggest tzaddik adar, and therefore he will be able to bring the Gula to entire class because everyone's going to connect to him. So when it comes to Chanukah, there's nobody that could say it's not for me. It's too much. It's beyond. That's not. Chanukah could attach. The Or could shine into every yid. Chanukah shines the Oira Shel Mashiach, which is that the worst yid, the shvachste yid, the lowest yid, the most sinful yid is beloved up in Shemaim like the biggest tzaddik ador. Oira Shel Mashiach that shines Chanukah. And therefore we could witness, we see the truth of this vart. That there are Yidden that are so far gone, have no connection whatsoever. Today's day and age, as Yidden that don't even know the Yiddish, but in every bank you'll walk in, there's still that menorah. It could be bowls, it could be red bowls, yellow bowls, it doesn't matter. But there's still some connection of Chanukah. The soul feels that Chanukah is the most public, most advertised Yom Tov that the Umas Oilam know about it. They do it in their way. But everyone knows, everyone feels something when it comes to Chanukah. Because the oil is so great that it has a koich to shine into every single yid. And even if he's, with 10 generations before he was a yid, and he has forgotten his Yiddishkeit, he still feels it. This is what it means that the oil Gonus shines Chanukah. The oil that's always hidden. All the other Yom Tovim, the real light of it is hidden to everyone. Tzaddik can feel it more. The greater you are, you can more connect to the Yom Tov. What does it mean Yom Tov? It's a day that we have something from the Oira Gonus. That's what the Zohar tells us. Every Yom Tov, the Oira Gonus shines on a very low flame. Therefore it's called Yom Tov. Why is a Yom Tov called Yom Tov? Well, what's the name Yom Tov? It's a Yom that there's Tov. What's Tov? Ha'or ki Tov. It's a pasuk in Bereshis. Tov symbolizes Oir. You know, Moshe Rabbeinu was born. It says in the pasuk that Miriam, his sister, and his mother, Yechevet, they saw that he's good. What does it mean? Says the Gemara in the Smala Bayis Oira. The house was filled with light. Tov means light. Every Yom Tov, the Zohar tells us we have a little bit of the Oira Gonus. Chanukah, it's Kulei Oira Gonus. Oira Gonus shines like when it's about to shine, when it's going to shine, when Mashiach is going to come. It's Oira Gonus, but it's Oira Shel Mashiach with its fullest strength. And every Yid, which it means is, could connect to that light, has to connect to that light, and has to know it's such an opportunity to use out. And there's no answer. But I know the way I am a whole year. I know how my house looks a whole year. It's no connection. Chanukah is so high that the lower you are, as low as you are, it can still connect to you, and even more, in a very deep way. The lower you are, you could even connect more. The Bnei Yissaschar tells us Chanukah every year becomes stronger and stronger. Why? Because it's a light that was established to light up our golus in a matter of darkness, when we don't have Mashiach, we don't have a Beis HaMikdash, when there's tzaras, when there's darkness in Yiddish souls, when there's nisyonis. So just like the darker a room, when you turn on a flashlight, the more the flashlight has an effect. The darker a matzav is, the oil has more an effect to show the koyach, the power that I'm here. So the darker we are in Golus, Chanukah becomes stronger. Chanukah is the oil that has a reflection already of oil shel Mashiach. And the closer we go towards Mashiach, the deeper we sink in the Golus, Chanukah becomes bigger and greater. That's what the Bnei Yissaschar says. So what it means is that if a Yid feels he's low, Dafke he could connect in a certain way more than the person that's not so low. Every Yid has shaykhs to Chanukah. Every Yid has shaykhs to Oire Shel Mashiach. Therefore we find that Rizal tells us the chilik between Chanukah and Yontif. Every Yontif at Shabbos the Rebbeinu Shalom takes a Yid and elevates him and takes him into his heichel, into his palace up in Shemayim. Chanukah is the time that the Rebbeinu Shalom lowers himself down into the dungeons, into the galus, into the boir, into the pit that the Yid is. That's what the Rizal explains. It's like a melech that lowers himself into a pit. What is chus? Even if there's a melech basav adam that wants to save, wants to take someone out of a dungeon, what is he going to do? Send a servant, send an aide. He won't go in and get dirty. Chanukah is a time that the Rebbeinu Shalom himself, no shliach, no malach, no saraf, he himself comes down to lift the Yid and lighten up his dungeon, lighten up his darkness. Therefore we find by Chanukah things we don't find by any other mitzvah. We know there's a rule, the Gemara says the Shechina never comes down lower than 10 tfachim. Therefore a sukkah is not allowed to be lower than 10 tfachim, because the Kedusha does not come down lower than 10 tfachim. We find it that the Kruvim, Soichachim Bekanfeim, has to be above 10 tfachim. The Gemara says it about another thing, that we find that Shechina doesn't come down with 10 tfachim. Shechina never comes down lower than 10 tfachim. However, Chanukah we find in Shulchan Aruch, you have to put it down dafka lower than 10 tfachim. That's the mitzvah. Says the Moranayim, even though Shechina says, I never come down lower than 10 tfachim, Chanukah is a time I'm ready to jump into the dungeon dafka lamata masara tfachim. That's the whole essence of the Yontif, that the Shechina comes down. And therefore it's the only mitzvah that Chazal established for us, dafka at night. Usually mitzvahs are beyoim. Only Pesach by night. We find that we eat matzah, marad al koises at night. So we sing in Nagada, Laila Kayom Yoyer. It's a light that's lit up like a day. Pesach night is koiches of a day. That's what we find in Chazal. Laila Kayom Yoyer. It's a night that's lit up like a day. Chanukah is night. And dafka in the night, the oil comes down and lights up the darkness of the night. Mishatishka Chama, sunset, which symbolizes Shkia. Many Yidden feel sunset. Sunset in Ruchnias, sunset in Gashmias. They feel they can't connect to the sun. They see it, they see what's left over from the sun, but not the Zricha. Shkia, sunset. Many Yidden lost what they had. The Gashmias, the Ruchnias. Chanukah is the Yontif Dafka Mishatishka Chama. Leile Tevis Aruchim. Chanukah leads us into Chodesh Tevis. Chazal tell us Leile Tevis Aruchim. What does it mean? Tevis time, the nights are the longest hours of night. And we know it. The day is the smallest at its least hours. That's the whole essence of the Yontif. To light up darkness when the night is long, when there's sunset. Where do we put the menorah? Lamata Masoret Tvachim. Pesach Beisoim Bachutz, outside. We usually escape from the outside to inside. By Yidden we know outside the street is Tomei, Treif. It symbolizes Nisyonis, it symbolizes the Sitra Acher, the Klippa that's outside. Yiddish Kedusha is when he closes the door. Chavikim at Rega ad Yaver Zam. It says you should go Leich Ami Boich Aderecha. A person when he has Nisyonis should run into his house. Yiddish house has a koyach. We never fulfill mitzvahs outside. Sukkah, we build a house outside. So we capture the Kedusha outside. But to put the menorah outside, in Yerushalayim, whoever was Chanukah Yerushalayim knows, they put it mamish outside out the door. That's the way the Luchah is established. Because Chanukah is an or that nothing could hold back. Nothing could dim that light. No sitra achra, no darkness, no streets, no nisyonis, no tumah. It's stronger. It's above. It's lamala mateva. Oira shel Mashiach, oira gonus. This is a explanation. This whole maracha that we explained, that the higher a oir has more koich and ability to shine down in lower, darker matzavim and areas, and that's the oir shel Chanukah. Explains the Sipur HaKadosh, Sipur HaYedua, the Sifsei Tzaddik brings one story in his whole sefer. It's Enikol Chedush Harim, brother-in-law from the Sfas Emes. The holy known Sipur. What's the story? Well, Yidden in our town who suffered terribly from an informer, from a Masur. And he would make them terrible gzeiros and form Yomim V'Layla on them. They're mamish, they couldn't bear him anymore, so they decided they'll travel down to the Choyz of Lublin, the holy sea of Lublin. And the Rambam tells us there's a locha. If an informer makes tzaras v'yidi, a lot of mamish kill him. He's a roidef. He has a din misa. So they said they won't do it today. They're not sure if you're allowed to, and they're afraid of him. They'll go down to the sea of Lublin. They'll ask him to daven for that he should be demolished. He should be taken away this world. He should die. So they came to the sea of Lublin. The sea of Lublin hears the tzaras. He started mamish krechtzing, such size, and he says, "Okay, so give me the name." So they right away took out a kvittel. They searched, they investigated, they found out his name, they prepared a kvittel. He takes the kvittel and looks at the kvittel and he says, "What? He's an informer? Can't be. Lacht in alle Welten. He's shining in all the oilamas, in all the worlds. His name is shining." So they looked, maybe they exchanged the kvittel, it can't be. They said, "No." Chayzer says, "It must be, it's a mistake, it's not the name." He says, "No, we made sure, we asked the aunt, the maisa, we found that this is definitely the name, it can't be." Seal Lublin says, "I see that he's mamish shining in all the Welt." They had no brainer. They went back to the town. They thought maybe they made a mistake. They'll try to find out his true name. Came back and they found out this was his name. So it was pshat. Until they found out that Chanukah, for some reason, he told them maybe you want to put on candles. He said, "If you'll give me some candles, et ongetzund in Chanukah." And they made a cheshbon was the same time that they gave the kvittel to the chayzer, that yid et ongetzund in Chanukah. They came back to the chayzer says that's what it is. When a yid sind Chanukah, he may be an informer, he may be a Rasha Merusha, a lowest of the low. Aber scheint in alle Oilemes and alle Himmel and Shante. What a moment, what moments are these moments that we put on the Chanukah, and the oil is there an entire day. By Yidden, the day goes after the night. The day starts at night. We start it, we light it up, and it shines the whole day in the morning through Hallel, and through Shiras v'Tishbachas, and through the Chinuch that you give over to your children, Chanukah. What days of opportunity ahead of us. You know, every Yontiv we feel sour sometimes before Yontiv. Lev Yedei Amaris Nafshi. We know we're so far, we're so not ready. There's a feeling I'll share with you, you know. Every year that passes by, I think, Vergangene Jahr, I was so much closer to Yontiv. And I'm sure that that's it. This year I had a Shvach year. Next year, I'm for sure going to be more prepared for Yontiv. I'm for sure be closer. I see. You could go lower. You think that's the end. It's not the end. The older you are, it's more nisyonis. Chanukah is a time that you don't have that feeling, because Chanukah, when you put on the menorah, you just get ignited with it. Lahadlik ne Chanukah. Beis Avram said the nusach is not according to Rizal lahadlik ne shel Chanukah. Others have the nusach. Rizal said you should say lahadlik ne Chanukah, which means you should ignite yourself with the oil of Chanukah. Ner is a shetayvis nefesh ruach. Shemen, the shemen that you put into the neir, is neshama, moyach. Shemen is the neshama and the moyach. And the shin stands for another thing. I don't remember at the moment. Sorry, nefesh. Nefesh is neir psilo shemen. That's the Rosh Hashanah. Nefesh is neir psilo shemen. Every neir has a knoit. How do you say the knoit? A wick. A wick. And it has the oil. That's the nefesh of a yid. You have to ignite yourself. When you put on the menorah, ner Hashem nishmas adam. You bring the oil into your neshama, and you ignite your neshama with, you fuel it with kedusha. You know, I saw a question that Svarim bring. We know that in Beis HaMikdash, when we lit the menorah, there was a mitzvah of adlokas ha-menorah, and there was a mitzvah of atovas ha-menorah. Hatova means to clean out the wick, to clean out the oil, to prepare it, to be meitiv esaneres. We have it in Rashi. Baloischa esaneres. The Rebbe Shalom tells Aaron HaKohen she'ata madlik umeitiv esaneres. What does he mean meitiv esaneres? Atov esaner. The Rambam speaks about it's halacha. You can't just go on and put on the candle. Right? You have to clean it, prepare it. Prepare it. It should be roy to be lit. So Sforim ask, how come Chanukah, when we put on, when we ignite the neiris of the menorah, which is a zeichet to the neiris of the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash. Svarim say, the Sasema says that you draw your mamshich, the kedusha from the Beis Hamikdash into your house when you put on the Ner Chanukah. It's mamish, there's a ran even, that you're not allowed to do mevuzadige things. You shouldn't count money in front of the lech. Not allowed to be mishtamish to its oil, because it's mamish kedusha of oil in the Beis Hamikdash, that you weren't allowed to use the oil for your own needs. So if that's the case, where's the hatava? How come we don't find any rash about the hatava? Adlaka, we're full about putting on, igniting. What's with the hatava? Why don't we commemorate the hatava that was in the Beis Hamikdash? And the question is very strong, because the Rambam paskin that hadlaka ksheira bezor. Really, in the Beis Hamikdash, if the kohen would bring, a zor is not allowed to go in. Someone that's not a kohen is not allowed to go into the Beis Hamikdash. But if the kohen would bring the menorah to outside, and someone that's not a kohen, a zor, a simple yid would ignite the menorah, it would be kosher. But hatava dafka b'kohen. It's a psak in the Rambam. The hatava, only a kohen could clean the ner, to prepare it to be lit. If a yid would do it, a zor did it, it wasn't kosher. The kohen would have to do it again. So we find in a certain way that hatava is more important. It has to be that's dafka b'kohen. Mashen ken adlaka. So why don't we commemorate hatava when it comes to Chanukah? Rabbi Arik tells us that from this halacha in the Rambam that hatava is dafke bekoyin adlaka ksheira bezor. We see what Sfarim tell us. Chassidim would say hachana l'mitzvah gadol mitzvah. To prepare yourself for mitzvah is more than doing actually the mitzvah. The literature can't even hear it. But Rabbi Arik said that here's where there's a raya from the Rambam. Because what's the hatava? Cleaning, preparing the ner to be lit. That's dafke bekoyin. But to add some actual mitzvah of lighting, that's ksheira bezor. So we see a chanul mitzvah gadol mitzvah. But where's the hatava when it comes to Chanukah? I believe that here's the answer. The Me'arik's word. Hatava is achana and adlaka is the actual mitzvah. Every mitzvah, every yontiv, every limud we're about to learn, we have to prepare ourselves. When we go to daven, there's a mitzvah of hikoin. Others put on a gartel, others you can't run into the besmedra just like that. You have to close your jacket. There's an inyan of achana, hikoin. When it comes to do a mitzvah, Yid is supposed to prepare himself. And why does Sfarim say that preparing yourself is more than doing the actual mitzvah? Why does Chassidim explain so? Because when you're doing the mitzvah, you're obligated to do it. It's not such a chiddush, but what you do on your own hachana, you show your shtoikikis, your longing, your desire, you show the specialty that you show towards the mitzvah. That's more than even doing the mitzvah. When it comes to Chanukah, we don't need a chana. Of course, it's a gewaldige Sache if you do prepare yourself. That's what we're all doing now. But the lesson is to Yid, even if he feels I'm not ready, I'm not prepared. Chanukah, but actually just fulfilling the mitzvah. Igniting the candle, you have a koyach to be there, it's fullest, like if you would have prepared yourself like the biggest tzaddik. Because Chanukah's oil is so high that it lights up the darkest, lowest matzavim and the lowest Yidden. And their lowest matzavim, even when they're unprepared, that's a tumult and tzamished and fayokt and faplokt and they don't feel ready. Because the essence of this yontiv is to give a Yid koyach when he's not ready, when his mindset is not set properly, when he's not comfortable, when it's dark. That's the whole idea of this mitzvah, to keep us going in darkness, keep us going in golus. Therefore, we did not make a zeichet to the hatava, which symbolizes achana. To teach a Yid, Chanukah could just go over and be part of it, even if you're an informer. And you're igniting the candles, derech agav. Because it's Oira Shel Mashiach, it's the Oira Ganos that's always hidden. What opportunity. To explain a little bit more, now that we understand that this Oir of Chanukah applies to every Yid and has shaykhis to every Yid, we can understand what the Rambam speaks words. Says a description, says an agdara about Chanukah that he doesn't say about no other mitzvah. The Rambam writes, mitzvahs ne Chanukah, mitzvah chaviva hi adma oid. The mitzvahs ne Chanukah is a very, adma oid, a very beloved mitzvah. The Rambam, we know that we have Chiddush Reb Chaim, and every ois of the Rambam, we have a whole sugyas alomdasen. The Rambam doesn't stand right. The Rambam writes halachas, states the halachas that a yid is mechuyev to do. Here the Rambam couldn't hold back his feelings. Mitzvah Chanukah is a mitzvah chaviv, it's a very beloved mitzvah. What is it? He doesn't write that about no other mitzvah. Just to give us an idea how far the chavivus of Chanukah is. But I remember it was the last Chanukah of the Nesivos Shalom. Shvach, the Heilige Nesivos Shalom, how much Torah did he teach, and he lit up Chanukah for Kals. We have a whole kunteris Nesivos Shalom on Chanukah itself. But it was at the end of his life, he was in the elderly years, he didn't have koich anymore, he didn't say Torah anymore. One day, Chanukah, one night, he asked for the mic. The mic was only there to hear the bracha. It was clear to everyone, he's not going to say Torah. And in his last koiches, he says, I just want to say one word. Short word. The Rambam says, Mitzvahs ne Chanukah, mitzvah chaviva hi ad ma'oid. I want to just connect and stell zu a lashon of a Mishnah and others that says, Chaviv in Yisrael shenikru banim lamokim. How beloved are Yidden upon the Rebbeinu Shalom that they are considered to the Rebbeinu Shalom like children towards a father. They're called banim. They're called children to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Their relationship with the Rebbeinu Shalom is such like a son to a father. The Mishnah says, Chaviv in Yisrael, they're very beloved upon the Rebbeinu Shalom that they're nikru banim. Mitzvahs Nechanik is also mitzvah chaviva. What's the chavivas of Nechanik? It teaches a Yid that he's always a ben to the Rebbeinu Shalom. That was his vart. Mamish seeing this like his tzavah. This is what the Nesivos Shalom was his entire life, teaching a Yid that we are children towards the Rebbeinu Shalom. And a child never gets lost. A child never could depart from a father. He's always connected. As far as he goes. As deep as a rift, an argument, and a chalila, machloikas could be. That connection of father to children is always there. Chanukah teaches us that we're always beloved and considered children towards the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's the mitzvah Chanukah, mitzvah chaviva hi ad ma'od. He didn't have any more koyach. This was the vart. I believe that his kavanah was what he brings in a sefer b'shem the Nesivos Shalom, that we say in Al Nisim, there was a whole milchama, and then we defeated them. That's what we say in davening and a bench. And then your children, we tell the Rebbeinu Shalom in the middle of Moedim, your children came to the Beis HaMikdash, they cleaned the Beis HaMikdash, they prepared it, and they lit the candles in the Beis HaMikdash. The Ner Chanukah, which we light to commemorate that. Says the Bnei Yissaschar. There's an extra word here. It doesn't say va'achakach banu. Afterwards we came in. We're speaking. We're talking about Klal Yisrael. Va'achakach bo v'necha, says Bnei Yissaschar. After the Nes of Chanukah, Klal Yisrael came to the level that they became back banim lamakon, beloved to the Rebbeinu Shalom. They felt it that they are banim. Va'achakach bo v'necha means afterwards we came and we felt that we are children. That Chaviv in Yisrael shnikru banim lamakon that the Mishnah tells us about Yidden. That the Chanukah teaches us, that's the mitzvah Chanukah, mitzvah chaviva hi ad ma'od. But maybe we could add and stell zu. We know there's a machloikis in Mesechtes Kedushin between Rabbi and Rabbi Yehuda. Yisrael shechata, a Yid that sins, a Yid that conducts himself not like he's supposed to. How is he considered towards the Rebbeinu Shalom? Rabbi Yehuda says Yisrael shechata is not considered a ben towards the Rebbeinu Shalom. The Rebbeinu Shalom considers Klal Yisrael as children if they go b'derech HaTorah. If not, he's not considered a ben. Rabbi argues and he says, no, benkach ubenkach nikru banim. In every matzav, in every state, whatever the Yid does, he's always considered a ben. The Rebbeinu Shalom always calls him, you're my son, and he's still beloved. This amazing Tshuvas HaRashba. Tshuvas HaRashba tells us, even though we have a klal, a concept, halacha Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir, whenever there's a machloikas and an argument between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir, there's always the halacha Rabbi Yehuda, not like Rabbi Meir. Here there's an exception. By this argument, Rabbi Meir is right. Benkach or benkach nikru banim, in every matzav, in every state that a Yid is, he's always towards the Rebbeinu Shalom as a child towards a father. And the Heilige Yisod Avodah, the first one of Rebbe Chusayim Aleinu would say, it's a mitzvah lefarsem dis Tshuvas HaRashba. It's a mitzvah to give over and teach everyone you see this Tshuvas HaRashba, which is to tell a Yid in every matzav that you're always still beloved. Not still, you are beloved. You are like a child towards a father. The Rebbe loves you like a dear son, like a precious son. Mitzvah lefarsem. Rings a bell. Chanukah, there's also something with Pirsum Nisa. The only mitzvah that Chazal tell us, you have to go and be mefarsim the nes. Therefore, you should light it outside. To reveal and show others the nes. Share it with others. Why? Because the concept of Chanukah is teaching a Yid, you're always connected. Even you're an informer. The light is so big that you could connect. You're there. You're part of the nes of Chanukah. You are a ben. Therefore, we have to be mefarsim Chanukah, because Chanukah is mefarsim the psak of Reb Meir of benkach nikrubanim. This was pshat in the pasuk of Zechariah, v'ratis b'nayich tzion b'nayich yovan. I'll awaken. I'll give koyach for b'nayich tzion, my children tzion. They should be on top of b'nayich yovan, my children yovan. And all the Sfarim ask, we speak about yovan, and we say the word b'nayich. Why does the pasuk call yovan b'nayich? It's a pasuk. B'nayich tzion b'nayich yovan. It says Sfarim because, of course, we don't speak about simple Yevonim. Yevonim, the pasuk wouldn't call with the word Benayach, with the name Ben. But we speak here about Yidden that are Mesyavna. We know, and the Doyer, the Nest, were Yidden that went and joined the Yevonim. They wanted to attach themselves. They got influenced by the klip of Yavon. They got attached to the culture of Yavon, which is chitzonius, beauty, outside beauty, sheker, hana of this world, kfira. Even that are mesyavnim, that are attached to the klipa of what Yavon wanted to implement in the world. This is what Yavon wanted to teach. That every Yid should know, Yidden should know they don't have shaykhs to the Rabbi Shalom. Even such a Yid that's part of that is still called Banayich. Because the Nes of Chanukah teached us and revealed that every Yid is considered a Ben. That's the Bachakach Bo Banecha. We can take out from this whole shmuz a tip, a tool that could accompany us in our entire life, the entire year, to enhance our life. The greater a oil, the greater a light, the higher a oil, it has koyach to shine down to lower areas. What it means is, sometimes a person feels matzovim are not good. He feels low. I'm on a low. Just saying, I'm on a low. I don't feel comfortable. It's not good. I feel a darkness. I feel and sometimes he's justified to feel like that. There are yisurim in the world. The gashmias and so beruchnias. There's nisyonis. Here's the eitzah. Don't try to fight the choshech. You can't fight choshech. The eitzah is ignite the candle. Lift yourself. Elevate yourself. And this is something that every Yid could feel. At the Rebbein Shalom helped, and you feel you davened well. You learned well. You had a chiddush. You did a good deed, and it warmed your heart. You looked away from something. You were mes'ala. You lifted yourself above. You were moichel. If you feel that you grew, you became higher, all of a sudden you see that matzavim that bother you usually are bearable more. You could bear it more. Why? What's pshat? Pshat is that you lifted yourself. And if you lifted yourself, your oil got higher. And if your oil got higher, you have koyach that this oil could shine into lower areas. Pashat tazach. Sometimes in a household, it could be shalom bayis, it could be with children, it could be with business mates, it could be all over. You feel segait nishtepes. I can't stand that person. He always makes me nervous. I can't explain it. It's always bothering me. But if you have a good day, you made a good deal, you got elevated, all of a sudden you see, you could bear him. It's a known fact that Balatanya says that the biggest signer, two people that Chalila hate each other very bad, when they'll make a simcha, he'll be able to like him. That's what Balatanya says. It's a natural nature. Every person could feel. If he rises, if he lifts himself, if he grows, he could fanem. He could connect himself. He could shine into lower matzavim because the greater oil has koyach to reach lower areas. Chanukah is the highest oil. Chanukah neshamas through the ner. Chanukah gets lifted up to the highest heights possible in this galus. We inherit oil shel Mashiach. We inherit kedushas by Samigdash in our houses. We inherit Shechina that never comes down. Only Chanukah. We become backbone when we could feel it, even if we were benayich Yovan the entire year, even if I am an informer. If that's the case, Chanukah is a gewaldige opportunity to shower down and to connect yourself to others. And therefore, I believe Chanukah, Chazal established that there's a chiyuv in a person of pesum and nisa. Why? Because all year, all Yom Tovim, a person could say, it's not for me. How could I give Yiddishkeit to others? I feel I'm lacking. But Chanukah, you get automatically lifted up to such heights that your oil could reach lower and spread more. So Chanukah, we tell a Yid, it's a time for pesum and nisa. What an opportunity for a Yid to enjoy and connect and try to feel that lifting himself, that growing, that rising of the oil of Chanukah. And when he has that, he has to have in Zinnah and remember, it's time for me to spread Yiddishkeit, to give over myself, to be in the Farsim Denes. In my house, it could be to a household, to my children. My chinuch, Chanukah is lashon chinuch. My chinuch should be different. Ne'erishu beisoi. It's a mitzvah that's established for a person to shine into the entire household, to his children. Chanukah is a time that before the lecht kommt, remember there's no inyan of a tova. Even if you're not ready, it's a time that before you put on the lechtel, you gather your family, you tell them it's different. It's Oira Shel Mashiach. It's Oira Ganas. All that's hidden the entire year gets revealed now, a special Oir, and we all are going to rise. And our relationship, and our shaykhis, and the way we conduct ourselves towards each other and Bechlal, all year round there's no shaykhis to now. Now, in whatever state you are, there's an oil that Chazal established for us to keep us going, even if it's difficult. It's a time to make a new start, to be mechadish yourself. Chanukah is maloshin eschatches, a Chanukah sabayis. Let's fix up, let's be moichel, let's rise, let's start again. And of course, this applies towards our relationship with the Rabbi Shalom. It's a time that you have to feel that we are children, we become beloved, chaviva ad ma'od, we become chavivim. It's a time that even if all year round you feel that you can't fight, you can't withstand certain nisyonis, even all year round you can't daven the way you want to, you can't concentrate, you can't learn the way you want to, you feel it's hard for you. Chanukah has no connection to all year round. Chanukah is Oira Ganas, Oira Shel Mashiach. It's a time of opportunity that you could start and renew, and refuel, and light up all the relationships with the Rabbi Shalom, with our children, with our spouses, with the entire world. We have to light up the street, with our fellow neighbor, with everyone. That's the special opportunity of Oyer Chanukah. We have to remember the chvivas. We have time. We have to remember the chvivas of Ner Chanukah, which we started. Arachti ner leMashichi. Chanukah prepares the ner to Mashiach to come. We have to remember what it means that it's a time that the Oira Ganos that was hidden from Rishonim, Chanukah, the Rabban Shalom, reveals that Oira Shel Mashiach gets revealed. Our own Oiras that are hidden within us. Every Yid has Oiras, lights. Every child has specialties. Every individual has good areas, but sometimes they're covered. The bad takes over and conquers the good. Chanukah, we won. Mil Hashem Elai. They went out 13 against thousands, tens of thousands, and they defeated them. We thank Allah Nisim, Allah Chois, Allah Mulchamais. We thank for the Mulchamais because it's a time that a person could open again war, start fighting again. Bring in light to where it's so dark. The idea of Oira Shel Mashiach, the idea of Oira Ganos, is the idea of like Baim Reb Shimon B'Yochai, because he was so high, had a koyach that his Oira should shine until Hoyt Shebahoyt, until Din Shebedin, and that's the Oira Shel Mashiach of Chanukah. Chanukah, every Yid is accepted and beloved upon the Rabbi Shalom, like the biggest tzaddik ador. Just like Mashiach is going to like the worst Yid, like the biggest tzaddik ador. Therefore, mitzvah lamata masaret tvachim, and therefore mitzvah bachutz beleile tevis Mashiach sheicha. Like that informer that became beloved and shined in all the oilamas. Mitzvah nechanike mitzvah chaviva hi ad ma'oid. It's a time that we could bring in chavivas to things we do all year, and it's lost its chavivas. We got used to it. We're doing it with the hergel. Chanukah lashon schachas. You can renew yourself and feel the chavivas of mitzvah, the chavivas of Torah, chavivas of your family, chavivas of children. And even, remember always, we cannot enjoy that Oira Ganos in full. Chanukah is a time that every Yid, that's the specialty of this Yontiv, a time to teach and to give over to ourselves and to others. I'm assigning with one point, very quick point. The Megalamukas brings us that Chanukah is the Kedusha of Yosef. The Yevonim had a problem with Midosoi Shel Yosef HaTzadik. Midas HaKedusha. Therefore, the Shlomo also brings that Chanukah, we find that Yosef HaTzadik is a Gematria, Yosef is Gematria Melech Yavon. Yosef is a koyach against Melech Yavon. Yosef is Gematria anti-Yochis. He was the koyach against anti-Yochis. The Yevonim wanted one thing to implement in the world. Remember that you're not connected. Chanukah, we defeat the Yevonim and we feel the connection. We inherit the connection. Even at the darkest matzavim of Golus, we feel, we're tearing off. Klal Yisrael is crumbling. We're suffering from the Sionis that we did not have, not 5 years ago, not 10 years ago, a week ago. You speak to Rabbanim, you speak to Mechanchim, you know that's terrible, terrible Sionis in Klal Yisrael. But Chanukah's koyach is to keep going. Midosa Shel Yosef. Chanukah is, yes, we do have Chelik B'Lekei Yisrael, even when you think you're tearing off. No. We feel that connection, and when that connection gets back connected, it's more powerful than always. So, Kisvu Lechem Al Keren HaShoy. They said, write on Keren HaShoy. So once upon a time, when Echananel explains, they used to aker. How do you say aker? They used to be choirish.
Wow.
With a shoy. How would they do it? With an axe, with a shoy. So this was the first bumper sticker. The first idea of advertisement bumper stickers was Kisvu Lechem Al Keren HaShoy. Just like on the cars, they wanted them to write on Keren HaShoy. In the middle of work, you should always see, you don't have connection to Hashem, you don't have connection. They wanted to advertise it. Therefore, we advertise, we also make bumpers. We do the Sumanissa, we do the Chanukah Lech on every window. We work with advertisement against them. But Shoir is Yosef. In Parshas Vachi we see B'chor Shoir Hadaloi. B'chor Shoir. Yosef has the koyach of Shoir. Alei Shur. Alei Shur. Again, Yosef. Yosef is Yefei Mara. Yafta L'kim L'Yefes is Yavon. Yosef is Tzion. Middle of Yosef is Tzion. Tzion is Varati, is Benaich. Tzion al Benaich Yavon. Yosef is the opposite of Yavon. Therefore, Chanukah has a special connection to Yosef HaTzadik. V'hoya beis Yaakov Eish u beis Yosef Lahava. Eish and Lahava, which is the fire of Lei Chanukah, is Yosef, which is the main essence of Yankov. It says in the pasuk, Bnei Yankov Yosef Selah. Yosef is the main son of Yankov. He was supposed to be the B'chor. He's the center of the Shvatim. They all bowed for him. That's the idea that Yosef and Yankov, but Yosef especially, is connected to Chanukah. Now, I once said it over already, but it's a moiridig Gevot I heard from the Balabas. What brought Yosef the cycle of his success? What started his success? Yosef was in the lowest of the lowest matzav. Far from his father, his brothers sold him. In jail, in a dungeon, humiliated, mevuza, a crime that he never fulfilled, the worst matzav possible. And he's taken out in our parsha. Vayrutzu, and they ran to where? Right away to Mishnah Lamelech. He's on top of Paroi. Paroi knows that he needs Yosef. He's Mishnah Lamelech, but he's the Melech Mitzrayim. Let's remember what Mitzrayim was at the time. There were hunger in the entire world, and the entire world came to buy food. The economy of the entire world was in Mitzrayim. And then, at a certain point, the Mitzrayim also felt the hunger, so they came to buy food from Yosef. So Yosef was the wealthiest person in the world physically, at the highest position of the world. And all his brother and his father, the highest heights in Ruchnius. In Mitzrayim, to remain with his tzidkas, Rashi and Shmois. Yosef, hoya b'Mitzrayim, hu shenas melech she'amad b'tzidkoi. What brought the cycle of his success? So I'll ask that to everyone. The answer will be, he withstood in a sign of Petifa. That's true. The Medrash says, b'schus, that he withstood that in a sign, he was zoicha to Malchus. It's important to know, the more you makriv, you sacrifice for Midosa Shel Yosef, which is Kedusha, the more you withstand in a sign, you're closer to Malchus. You're closer to wealth. You're closer to the crown of Malchus. But in the cycle of events, what happened was that Nesana Patifa brought him into jail. That brought him even lower. What turned over, the turnover from the worst of the worst to the highest of the heights? He turns around to another fellow, not even a Yid, Sarah Mashkim and Sarah Oifim, and he asks them, Madua panecha roim hayoim, why don't you look good today? Could I do something for you? 3 words, Madua panecha roim hayoim, 4 words. If you would never ask the Sarah Mashkim that question, he would never tell him about the dream. Paro would never hear that he could be Pesach Cholim. He would never get out. That started right away, the cycle of him getting out, of his aliyah, his gedula, his rising to the highest heights. Turning around to another one. Giving of yourself to someone else. That's the whole idea of Chanukah. Pesuma nisa, showering Yiddishkeit from yourself. Don't keep it to yourself. To your children, to your wife, to the entire world. The Leibster help should be zoich. To inherit the Torah Gonas, to use out that opportunity, to bring in the Oira Shal Mashiach into our Golus and from the Gashmiyas. Yidden need so much Gashmiyas into our Oiras of Golus, Ruchnias. Yidden need so much Ruchnias. Rebbeinu Shloim, shine us up. And if it's Oira Shal Mashiach, please let that Oir shine. Don't take it away from us. If it's a preparation for the Geula, let this Chanukah lead us in straight to Melech HaMashiach and to Beis HaMikdash and to Oira Gonos and to Oira Shal Mashiach, and every Yid soll geholfen werden. Mit Shidduchim und mit Kindern, mit Refuas, mit Shalvas HaNefesh, mit all das Yiden davon haben, mit Panusa. Yiden soll geholfen werden bei Rachnias, Teure, Avoide, und Kirvis und Lakus. Klal Yisrael soll geholfen werden, bei Bias, Goyal Tzedek. Yosef is in charge of the Geula. Yosef said, Pokod Yifkoid, you're going into Mitzrayim. The source, the root of all Goliath, Shoyrish Kol Goliath, Lashon Asfas Emes. I'll give you a sign, Pokod Yifkoid. I'm in charge. You'll be redeemed. And Geulas Mitzrayim is the source for our Geula. Kinetzeis Chom Eretz Mitzrayim. It'll be a rain on the floors, Losad Lovoi. Meshlam Chanukah is the Oishal Yosef. Redeem us from Heire B'Yameinu. Amen.